more like a 20% as you head toward the Fayette County area. Overall trend for us, Tropical Storm Fiona, which is formed in the Atlantic, will not be anywhere close to Texas. We will instead feel like late summer swelter. Saturday and Sunday, mid-90s, heading to the UT game right around 90 at kickoff Saturday evening. Another day, yeah, another ozone action day. Yep, air quality has been, unfortunately, in that unhealthy for sensitive group zone today, and we will do that all over again tomorrow. A code orange, so if you have any respiratory issues, you might want to limit your outdoor time. Typically, it's worst in the afternoon to early evening hours, and at this point, it does look like at least the morning, you'll be able to enjoy the lovely low humidity that has worked its way in. Earlier today, we saw dew points drop from 70, which is super muggy, into the 50s. It is gorgeous outside. 81 degrees our current reading.
I think it's working. All right, guys, we got it figured out. If y'all are doing well, we will make this short and sweet. I'm just glad to know that the sound is actually working, which is progress. As for getting the comments to appear, I futzed around with some stuff yesterday, and honestly, nothing worked. So I will once again type a comment and say, hi. And I'm guessing it still won't plot up there. So that box right below where I'm sitting used to have comments appear. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know what to do. I what do you do? Reauthorized it. I said, yes, this is my account. Please authorize it. The comments are going to post, and they're just not posting. So anyway, I do see Charles says hello, but it's not popping up here. So anyway, comment away. I just won't see it live unless I'm like looking around. Anne says hello. I can always look at the phone over on the other side, and then I still got it. Either way, I hope you had a wonderful Wednesday. Kind of a weird day. In the morning, we had really high humidity. Then some drier air at the upper levels of the atmosphere swept in. And if you walk outside right now, oh, it is beautiful. It is crisp. It is comfortable. And by morning, I would expect there could be some 50s in parts of the hill country, and even in Austin, 67 degrees, which would tie what we saw back on September 5th at 67. The last time it was cooler than that, 58 back on May 26th. That is the kind of crisp, cool fall-like gift we will have Thursday morning. Enjoy it. It's only going to last a few hours because after that, heat, humidity coming back. Summer doesn't officially end until September 22nd. So just be warned. I've got upper 90s in that forecast, as you can see here in your 7-day. All right, so let's work through and talk about Fiona, which formed in the Atlantic earlier this evening. Tropical storm. We'll also talk about our rain chances. And as you can see, we do need some rain. Only a ½ inch at Camp Mabry and only 0.14 inches at the airport so far this month. So yeah, here we are again watching the drought, which we've made great progress on lately. Well, start to whittle away. Temperature-wise, we hit 93 at Camp Mabry, 91 degrees. Michelle says autocorrect kicked in. You know what? That always happens to me. I always wish, like, there's so many times where I'm like, did I really just type that? No, I didn't. That's not what I meant. So I hear you. No big deal. Allergy report. Whoopsie, I think I forgot to take the Fall Elm 33 off. It's only 4. It was in the low range for today. Ragweed was at 50. See? My own little typo. All right, so air quality for Thursday, just as we saw on Wednesday, is going to be in the unhealthy for sensitive group zone. Code orange. Obviously, if you have any respiratory issues, asthma, emphysema, bronchitis, long-term COVID, anything like that, you'll just have a little bit more difficulty breathing during the afternoon to evening when those ozone levels are typically the highest. Why does the ozone cause such a big problem? Whenever we have light winds, and lots of sunshine. That's like the perfect ingredients when you combine with like the emissions from cars and other things that create pollution. All of that will just kind of, it's like a little cooker, and it will just release these ozone pollutants into the air, which can make it more difficult for you to breathe. Elderly, young, also affected. If you're a perfectly healthy individual, you will have no issues whatsoever. But it's just those sensitive groups that will have the biggest factors. I didn't see any rain at all for Wednesday. Why? Well, it's because we had that drier air coming in, which has dropped our dew points down in the so nice and comfortable zone. Last 4 days of rain, really not much for most of us. A few areas in the hill country have done okay. Now we're going to look at 4 days of rain chances starting Thursday, highest Friday. I'll only talk about a 20% chance though, and then back down into the low range on Saturday and Sunday. Overall trend though is that we're going to see mainly just hot and dry weather. Lake levels, we're still at 51% full at Lake Travis, 63% full at Lake Buchanan. Neither is gaining ground anymore. They are both losing to evaporation. But just to put things in perspective, they're only dropping like 1/10 of a foot in a week, as opposed to during the heat of July, we were losing a foot of Lake Travis water in a week's time. So the evaporation rates have slowed, a lot of that having to do with the fact that we're not getting day upon day of triple-digit temperatures. So yeah, there you have it. Okay, ozone action day, code orange, there you go. Air quality alert for you Thursday. And in fact, I think that the air quality will probably drop into that unhealthy zone maybe as early as 2 p.m. and it could stay that way all the way through 8, 9 o'clock. Temperature-wise outside at this hour, continue to enjoy those very pleasant temps, 77 degrees. That's after a high of 93 earlier in the day, just a little bit above average for this time of year. All right, it's already down to 66. Yes, you heard it right, 66 in Florence. It's 69 already in LaGrange. It's 69 in Willow City. See why I was saying that there's probably going to be some 50s by morning? Yeah, impressively cool air because of light winds, high pressure, and those low dew points. Going to make for crisp, lovely fall-like air. We have dew points in the 50s. It's pleasant. Enjoy it. You know why? Because I'm forecasting miserable dew points as early as Friday morning. So we are literally going to go from one end of the spectrum to another in 24 hours. Here is how it looks on your muggy meter. Right now, it's nice and pleasant. Through Thursday, we're going to slowly ramp up, but then by Friday, you'll say, ugh, and by Saturday and Sunday, you'll be like, what? Could we please get rid of this humidity? So for those of you who like to enjoy the crisp air, Thursday morning is your time. Hill country lows, first thing in the morning on Thursday, 60 in Fredericksburg. Yes, please. 61 in Blanco, 64 in Burnett. Through the I-35 corridor, right around 67 for your low, first thing in the morning in Austin. Typically, we're talking around 6:50 to 7:30 in the morning is when we see those coldest temperatures, generally right around sunrise. 62 at the airport, 64 at Georgetown. As nice as this is, nowhere close to records. The records are 55 and 56. Respectively for Camp Mabry and the airport. In areas east of I-35, looking good. Temperatures ranging from 63 in Thorndale to around 67 in Schulenburg. And right now it's already 69 in LaGrange. I have a hunch it's going to be even cooler than that by morning. All right, we will see some patchy clouds around. Temperatures stair-step quickly upwards. High temperature of 93, which will match what we saw for today's high temperature. 10% rain chances. Most areas will be dry. And again, the worst of the air quality in the afternoon to early evening. Current look at the big picture. Big ridge of high pressure is now centered off to our north and east. Winds around that high pressure. Swing it around just like so. So that means we are going to eventually get in on a southeasterly wind as early as Thursday afternoon. At least right now we've got a light northeasterly wind, which is what has brought in that drier air. Future clouds and radar first thing in the morning, lovely in the 60s, and we'll be watching throughout the afternoon as sea breeze showers develop. They will start along the coastline in the morning on Thursday, and then they will nudge their way inland. I'm only forecasting a 10% rain chance, however, just because most of the sea breeze showers will fall apart before they reach us. So, hour by hour forecast through the rest of the morning on Thursday. Patchy clouds around, winds now squarely out of the southeast, and that's going to pull in not only the Gulf moisture, making it feel more humid, but also a few showers and isolated storms. So here's a look at 5 p.m. Not much out there, but a few showers are possible through areas, mainly to the south and east of Austin. If you're lucky, you'll pick up a quick little downpour. Most areas will not. All right, so now, how much rain? Not much. Hill country probably going to stay dry. As you can see, this particular rendering from one of the computer models, giving everyone a tenth of an inch or less in general. And in fact, through the next 7 days, the majority of our area will probably see a tenth of an inch or less. Highest rainfall totals, if the European computer model pans out, maybe around a quarter of an inch or so for places like Fayette County and LaGrange. But the vast majority of us, not going to see much, especially out toward Mason County. Looking pretty dry, pretty lackluster. Here's another look. 7-day rainfall potential, meh. Don't count on much relief. The longer we go dry, the longer the drought becomes a little worse, the more likely we deal with those hotter temperatures as well. Next week, the ridge of high pressure at the upper levels will be stapled overhead as we head towards Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and that's really where the heat will ramp up. Better rain chances along the coastline, as you can see. And also, I'm not sure how wide this will go, but let me see. I was going to mention that the system, Fiona, that has formed, is likely to bring some extremely heavy rain, possibly next week, somewhere in this range. So you can see some of those reds in there, mainly in the Atlantic. I'll show you the track, by the way, of Fiona in just a moment. So temperature-wise, we're talking low to mid 90s Thursday, Friday, mid to upper 90s by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Are we done with triple digits? Well, we might not necessarily be done with that. You know why? There's actually one computer model. I didn't mention it on the news today. There's actually one computer model suggesting we could maybe tempt fate and hit triple digits at the end of the month. The latest ever 100 degrees temperature for Austin, October 2nd. So it has happened. We'll see. We haven't had a triple digit day since August 20th. It's kind of been a nice break. We're coming up on almost a month. Pretty cool. All right, so what had been tropical storm number 7 right here is now tropical storm Fiona. Meantime, in the Pacific, there are 2 systems. This one over here with a 50-50 chance of development, and this one over here with a 80% chance. The next 2 named storms in the Pacific are Lester and Madeline. All right, let's focus in on Fiona. Every time I say Fiona, I don't know about you, I automatically think Shrek. Anybody else? Am I not alone? Fiona. So Fiona has 50-mile-per-hour winds, and it is moving to the west-northwest about 16 miles per hour. So let's track it. It's going to be heading westward, nipping across the northern Leeward Islands, and then moving across Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and then Puerto Rico, and then the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and possibly up toward the Bahamas. That's the official forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. Could it, for some reason, stray away from this and maybe head into the Caribbean and the Gulf? Probably not. The majority of these spaghetti computer models, which are showing possible computer model tracks, the majority of these do swing Fiona kind of in here or in here. A couple, though, do actually go due west into the Caribbean. Should we get one of these outlier solutions out here, it is not out of the question that we see something in here, but more than likely that won't happen. By the way, Fiona at this point is not forecast to become a hurricane. Currently, Hurricane Center has it as a tropical storm. I had a question earlier from a viewer on Facebook that was saying, wait a second, when they saw this list of names, they were specifically speaking of Hermine, which hit Central Texas back as a tropical storm in 2010. They said, haven't we had a Hermine before? Yes, we have. What's going on? Okay, so typically what happens is there are lists of names. There are 6 lists of names, and they rotate every 6 years. If you get a big bad storm, let's say like a Katrina or a Rita or a Harvey, that's so bad that everyone's going to remember Hugo, that type of thing, that name gets retired. It's never used again, and it will always go down as being the Harvey, the Katrina, et cetera, et cetera. So then there's a replacement list where they'll insert names for those that are retired. But if you're never bad, for instance, Hermine in 2010 was a tropical storm that hit Texas. Hermine in 2016 was a Category 1 hurricane that hit Florida, but it didn't do enough damage and it didn't cause enough problems to be retired. So it's back on the list. All right, so that is my quick description of the naming of the hurricanes. Also, other people are asking, so who chooses the names? There's an organization called the World Meteorological Association that is in Europe that has its naming rights. So they're the ones that do all the decision making. And it's so interesting that some of the names are really hard to pronounce and extremely strange as well. Do you remember Isaias? And everyone was like, that's not how you pronounce it. But there's also a pronunciation guide that the National Hurricane Center puts out. And yes, it was Isaias, as strange as that pronunciation is. But I digress. All right, so let's talk. Thursday afternoon, evening, there's that lonely chance of maybe a stray shower, 10%. Looking ahead to Friday, a better chance of some showers, a 20% possibility. Now we fast forward to Saturday. Saturday's a busy day, not only the UT game against UTSA at 7 p.m., but also Austin FC. They just made the playoffs tonight. They will be playing Nashville on Saturday. So we've got a 7 p.m. kickoff at DKR, and we have an 8 o'clock kickoff at Q2 Stadium. And there's a small chance of a shower, 10%. It's going to be hot too, 95 degrees on Saturday. Looking ahead to Sunday, also a 10% chance of a stray shower, and temperature right around 96 degrees. One thing I want to mention to you is in the Pacific, see this down here, south of Mexico? That could be either Lester or Madeline, depending on how things play out. So we'll keep an eye on that. At this point, it looks like it's going to provide moisture mainly to the Baja Peninsula and maybe bring some Pacific moisture to aid in the monsoon out in the desert Southwest, but probably not enhance our rainfall here in central Texas. So we're looking like dry weather for the most part after that. And I believe we have made it to the end. Not of the world as we know it, just the end. So anyway, yeah, it's going to get really hot next week. Nothing on radar, all is quiet, and here we go, back around to the 7-day forecast where we're looking at hot weather. I did go ahead, and it's been a while since I've actually looked up the records just to find out how close we could get. Wednesday's record is 100 degrees, set in 1926. I'm currently forecasting 98, so that's probably the day where we could be closest to a possible record. I don't think we'll get there, and let's hope we don't get there. But just thought I'd throw that out there so that you would at least see it's going to be abnormally hot. And with that, we are done. Thanks so much for checking in. Have an awesome evening. And Avery's got your forecast first thing in the morning, as always. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Until mañana. Ta-ta for now. My little Winnie the Pooh reference. All right, take care, guys. Have a good night.